let me take a couple of minutes to introduce myself to those people who are not familiar with me, and of course with my partner. My name is Steve Breakstone, and that's my business partner and my good friend Michael Dreiblatt.
Hey everybody.
And what we're going to do today for the 4th graders, 5th and 6th graders, thank you for taking the time where we're going to all be together today and welcoming the 4th graders. Really appreciate that. What we're doing, of course, has been talking about relationships and how we get along with people, whether it's here in this school or as we move on to the middle school. So what we're going to do today is talk about bullies. That's a very popular thing a lot of people hear about today. But what we want to do is talk a little bit about what to do if you see somebody else being bullied. And the reason we want to do that is, from what I understand, there's not a lot of bullies here at Pownell, which is good. But what I hear is that sometimes the teachers say some of the kids sometimes get mean, they get rude, they're not nice at times, and I don't think they realize it. So what our job to do today is to talk to you about the different ways people can bully and what you can do if you're being bullied and what you can do if you see somebody else getting bullied. If you could hold on, we'll take some questions later on. Is that okay? All right. So the first thing we're going to do is talk about the different types of bullies, and I'm going to let Michael talk about that. And then later on, I'll tell you some stories about when I was your age. Right?
Excellent. How's everybody doing? Should we get you out of class for a little while? Let's try something a little different. It's always fun when different people come in, learn from a different group of people, do something different, breaks things up. Girls, would you do me a favor? Could you put away those pens and paper? Anybody else who has pens and paper, can you just put those away? If you want to put them in a safe spot, like underneath you, or off to the side, or ask one of your teachers to hold it, that'd be great. Is everybody comfortable? I want to make sure everyone's comfortable. All right, would you do me a favor? Can you just move slightly up? Okay. And then you, right over there, so you're in between these guys. And then you can fold up your legs and you can get comfortable. This way, because we're going to be sitting for a while. We're going to do some activities for a while. We're going to be talking to each other for a while. We're going to be talking to you for a while. You just ask for hold. All right. So, you ready? Yeah. Watch this. Types of bullies. You know, bullies are interesting because when I think about bullying, I think about somebody who has more power and they're using it against somebody who has less power. Does that make sense? It's not like two equals who are going at it. It's not like, well, Steve says the ball's out of bounds and I say the ball's in bounds and we're arguing. When I think about bullying, I'm thinking about that person with more power who's using it against that person who has less power. Could be a group of people against another group of people. Could be a group against one person. But there's always that group who's being bullied. If it's an individual or a group, they have less power. They don't know how exactly to stand up for themselves. And I'm really sure what to do. Well, the types of bullies that we need to watch out for, first we'll start with those physical bullies. That's that one that comes to mind when we think about bullies. These are the ones who use their body for that imbalance of power. We kind of think of some kind of large knuckle dragger, you know, some kind of, you know, big hulking beast who's going to meet you behind the slide. Gonna steal your milk money, gonna make you feel pain, gonna beat you into the ground, gonna make you feel, you know, get the idea? These are physically oriented people. That's that person who just walks over to you and pushes. Physical bully. Physical bully. Hurts, doesn't it? It really does hurt. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever had this? You know how some of the kids have really big book bags? You ever see those really big book bags? Has this ever happened? Maybe it's like towards the end of the day, there's nobody else around, the teachers are somewhere else, and that kid comes around with that really big book bag, and as they like turn the corner or they're coming around their stairs, they take their really big book bag and they wham! And they bang it into about 4 kids, and all the 4 kids go, you know, they're all falling down. Okay. Physical bullies. They use their power, their physical power. Those kids who keep on flicking your ear, even though you say, stop, leave me alone. The person who steals your stuff, who breaks your things, who pulls on your hair. It's body-oriented. The kickers, the pushers. All right? People who, punchers, exactly. People who are messing around with you, using your body. And you don't like it. You don't want it. Physical bullies. Another type to be aware of are those verbal bullies. Verbal, not gerbil bullies. Some mean hamster goes and beats up all the other little rodents. I'll get you. No, these are verbal bullies. They use words. Their power comes from use of words. They know how to give those insults. They can come out with 5 insults before you can come up with one. And then you come up with one and it's like, oh yeah, something like, that wasn't good at all. Verbal bullies use language as their way to have power over someone else. I was teaching 4th grade. I'm thinking about these 4th graders here. I was teaching 4th grade one time, and I had a kid in my class named Steven. Steven was a big boy. Steven was in 4th grade and was about my size and about my weight. Would you agree that's pretty big for a 4th grader? Yeah, that's pretty big for a 4th grader. Steven was the nicest kid you ever wanted to meet. Good student, got along with everyone, had friends. Everybody liked Steven. Unfortunately for Steven, Todd moved in to school one year. And Todd was one of these little guys, but man, he could come out with those insults. He was giving Big Steven such a hard time because he kept on making fun of him, using words as that power against him. Now, Big Steven could have easily gone, boom, and just pile drives him right into the ground, just easily. But that wasn't his way. He wasn't that kind of guy. And that little guy knew it and used those power of words against him. Sometimes they're very witty. They come up with really funny things that makes everyone laugh. And sometimes it's just like, you're stupid, nobody likes you, you're stupid. It could be either type, but it's the words are the power. Ready for another one? Anybody have a computer at home? All right. This one you might be aware of. This is called cyberbullying. If you use technology or computers to bully someone, then it's cyberbullying. Any of you have email at home? Okay. Anybody do IM, instant messaging, or AIM? All right. Have you ever gotten a message from somebody and you didn't know who it was from? You look at the profile and all right, so many of us have. This has happened to some people I know where they get a message over and over and over again from someone who they don't know who it is, and this person keeps on sending you messages and you don't like the messages. That might be cyberbullying. Another use of technology. You ever see those little cell phones that they have now? You ever see the ones that have cameras in them? There are people who have cameras and they can walk by and click. They can take your picture with the cell phone and they take that picture and they bring it home. They put it onto their computer. They get out Photoshop software. Has anybody ever heard of Photoshop? It allows you to manipulate and change the picture. Well, they get out their Photoshop software. They make that nose of yours look 6 inches long. They put horns on your head and they send it to everybody in your grade. Can you see how they're using the computer to bully? All right. Let's say you're at home and you are typing on your computer and all of a sudden you get an instant message from a friend of yours. A friend of yours. Friend. Let's see if this person is really a friend. You're sitting there typing and they're like, hey, what's going on? And you type back, nothing much, what's going on with you? And they type back, nothing much, what's happening? And you type back, nothing much, what's happening with you? And you're back and forth like this for like 10 minutes, just kind of going back and forth. And they say, is there anybody in our grade who you think is cute? Interesting. And you're not really interested in boyfriend, girlfriend kind of thing. So you type back, nah, there's not anybody who I really think is cute. And they type back, oh, there's got to be someone who you think is a little cute. You think about it for a minute and you say, well, there is this one person who I think is kind of cute. You type back. And they type back, oh, do tell. And you then type back, well, there's this person, and you type their name of who you think is cute. And then your friend, then sends it to everybody in the class. And now they all know that you like the person. Get the idea? Do you see the bullying that's going on? That difference in power? Here's a weird one. Relational bullies. I have a mean friend. I have a friend who is bullying me. Which is weird because they're my friend, but why are they being mean to me? But they are being mean to me. Where they use the relationship as the weapon. Do this or don't do that or I won't be your friend. If you want to be friends with us, you can't hang around with them. If you want to stay with us, you can't talk to her. If you're going to hang out with us, don't sit with him. Rumor spreading, gossiping. I'm going to ask you to hold for 1 second, and then I'm going to take a break, and we'll get a chance for questions. It's weird when your friends bully you. They're my friends, and I like them, but they tell me what to do, and they'll only let me be the dog when we play house, and I can't be anything else, and they spread spread rumors about me. They sometimes call me names, but I like them also. It's a very weird type of bullying. My friends sometimes do bully. Now, I know that people had some questions, so I'm going to give a few people a chance, and then we'll move on. Yes?
Well, I used to have a friend who lived right next door to me, and I would go to her house and play with her, but sometimes she'd be like, oh, well, if I wanted to do something different, she'd be like, oh, well, if you don't play with me, then you're not my friend.
So I'm going to repeat back so everybody can hear, and in case the people at home didn't hear, I'll repeat it. So imagine you're at home and you have this friend, and you are playing with this friend, but when you want to play a certain game, they're like, well, if you want to be my friend, you have to play this game. Or if you want to stay at my house, you have to play this game. That's a type of bullying among friends. I really like how she did not use anyone's name, all right, because we don't want to embarrass or hurt anyone. I'm going to take a question from you.
I know somebody who's like in my sister, and
Is there some bullying?
she won.
You want to think about that for a few minutes?
When letter applied?
Do stuff that, and then she wanted, and she was
Yes. Sometimes you'll hear kids talk about their friends like, you think you're the boss. You're trying to boss me around. That's some of that relational bullying that we were talking about.
You know what gets confusing? A little bit, and hearing these two stories, the way Michael's talking about the bullies and that difference of power, sometimes it's hard to tell when somebody is just not being nice. Sometimes they're just being mean. They're not really a bully, but they're just being mean. With bullies, see, here's the thing with bullies. Bullies pick on people who can't defend themselves. They're not as strong, either physically or, like Mike was saying, even verbally. Like someone says something, like a lot of insults to somebody, and the other person doesn't know how to insult. They've never had an insult before, and they don't have the power to, like, cut somebody down with their words. That's the difference of power. So sometimes it's a little confusing about being mean or being bullies. But when we talk about bullies, and I think about, all right, those people who look for people who can't take care of themselves. Now I want to tell you a story about what happened to me. I was born and I was raised in New York City. I went to school there. Nursery school, kindergarten, first grade, second grade, third grade. It was great. I didn't have to make friends. I was always surrounded by friends. It was wonderful. Never got into any fights. I liked people. People liked me. School was great. Then a terrible thing happened. My father got a new job. Made more money. Doesn't sound like a terrible thing, does it? Except he said, Steve, made it sound great. Tell you what we're going to do. We're going to move out of the city. We're going to move to the suburbs. The suburbs, we're going to move about 20, 30 miles from here, where you're going to have your own house. You're going to have your own bedroom. In fact, we got 2 bathrooms. Don't even have to share it with your sister anymore. And I'm like, cool. This is good. My sister took a lot of time in the bathroom when we wanted to get ready for school. And I'm thinking, this is great. I said, when are we going to move? He said, after 3rd grade. Fantastic. Well, after 3rd grade, I went away to camp for the summer. And I didn't really think about moving anymore. My parents took care of all that. And I came back after camp. And all of a sudden, I'm in this new house. I had my own room. Had my yard. That was great. I go to school. And all of a sudden, I realized I don't know anybody. And I didn't realize how nervous and how scared I'd be. So, I'm walking around like this, and I get into class, and I don't know anybody. And my mother says, you'll make friends, Steve. Just be nice. Just be funny. Okay. Didn't really know what she meant because I'm always nice. And I don't know how to be funny. Sometimes I make people laugh. I don't know. Anyway, so I was really nervous, and I sit in the front by where the teacher is, and that's cool. But at lunchtime, I have lunch, and then I go out to the recess yard, and I don't know anybody. And I'm just kind of walking around. I don't know if I'm like cool. What do I say? Am I dressed right? Am I like as cool as the other people? I didn't know. All of a sudden, I'm walking in the yard, and there is some noise behind me, and I turn around, and it's like these 3 kids. They're about the same size as me, but there were 3 of them. And they start making fun of me. They're calling me names. They're challenging me. And I'm like, what? What did I do? I don't know what was going on. I'm thinking maybe the reason that they're going on like this and making fun of me, bullying me, maybe because I was the new kid. So I'm like, I don't know what to do. I don't have any friends. So I just kind of like, I said, just leave me alone, will you? Oh, man. And I just walked away. And this would go on day after day, and I didn't know what to do. I mean, I was miserable. Mom and Dad, you know, when I'd come home, Mom would say, how was school? And I'd say, it's okay. And I'd go off and I'd watch TV. I didn't really want to tell her. This was going on for days, and this was just miserable. Sometimes they'd challenge me to a fight, and they'd say something like, come on, you're from the city. Let's see how tough you are. I never thought of myself as tough. I was just 10 years old. Anyway,